Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. And, Dragon, what finer film do we have in theaters right now than The Hitman's Bodyguard?
Honestly, right now, assuming Dunkirk's still in theaters, I can't really think of a really good one, to be honest.
Well, I can. It's called Logan Lucky. But I digress. Dragon. Since you haven't seen Logan Lucky, we're going to be talking about the Hitman's
Tiki
Bodyguard.
opted for Logan Lucky. I opted for Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah, it was kind of, and we both agree that, both Hitman's Bodyguard and Logan Lucky, not great stories, really fun characters and, performances in both of them. So it kind of evened itself out. But I digress. Since I have more of an opportunity to see movies, I did get a chance to see the Hitman's Bodyguard as well. And golly by Joe, Dragon, we're going to talk about it. Because you know what the Hitman's Bodyguard is, Dragon?
What?
It's a movie.
Well,
it exists.
True. That is also true.
It exists. And I saw it.
That is a fact, yes.
So basically, the Hitman's Bodyguard, of course, starring America's sweetheart, Ryan Reynolds, and America's bad boy, Samuel Jackson. Together at last, Dragon. Together at last.
Together again.
So, essentially, the Hitman's Bodyguard, for me, just going into my initial reaction to it, my initial response, it's a very passable movie. Like, it's not something I'm going to look back on at the end of the year and be like, Hitman's Bodyguard, fucking top 10 movie, you know what I mean? No. But it's fun, and like I said, kind of the big strength of it is, of course, it is just a vehicle to get Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson together, and the movie does very much carry itself based on the charisma of the two lead performances. And also, of course, Dragon, I'm sure we'll be getting more into this, but Salma Hayek is just amazing in this movie, and I wish she was in more of it. But she stole the show away from Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson. I would say she's the most funny character in this whole thing. So yeah, I think this film, it's very by the numbers. It's very much like a buddy cop, sort of like, oh, he's, like Sam Jackson doesn't play by the rules, and Ryan Reynolds makes too many rules. Geez, I wonder how these two are gonna, it's very predictable. We know these two are gonna be buddies by the end of the movie. It's the one thing I will give this movie, Dragon, in terms of like the buddy cop thing is I like the history that's developed between these two characters. I thought that was kind of something that I wasn't necessarily expecting going into this movie, and they kind of they played into the history very well. But overall, it was mostly just passable. Honestly, I thought the weak point was, I hate to say this, the beloved Elodie Young, yes, Elektra herself, going to splash in the blood.
Tiki, why do you hate me?
It came true in Defenders. I actually got to splash in the blood.
Why do you not like my movie, Tiki? Why?
Because this character in Hitman's Bodyguard is like the most stock, like, love interest character I've seen in quite some time, and frankly, she doesn't even really need to be there. Or at the very least, she doesn't need to be a love interest. Like, I understand why she's there is like a plot device to get Samuel Jackson to Ryan Reynolds. I just thought the whole love interest thing, I could have gone with that. Like, to me, all this stuff focusing on Ryan Reynolds and this girl kind of like, it kind of lost me. It was sort of the main thing besides the repetitive action that took me out of it. Also, I wasn't a big fan of the action in this movie for the most part. But other than that, like I said, good performances, good chemistry between the leads. Wish Salma Hayek had more screen time. Overall, fun time. What do you think of this, Dragon?
So going into this, I was looking forward to it based on just the first Red Band trailer. The novelty of a buddy movie. That
I will say it's a great trailer, and they have that great device in the trailer where they have Sam Jackson and Ryan Reynolds in the van with the nuns, and Sam Jackson singing the song, and it's annoying Ryan Reynolds, and then the music picks up to be this like epic orchestrated version of the song they're singing. I really love that in the trailer. You know what I mean?
Well, that's cool. And that was like the second trailer. I was referring to the Celine Dion one. The whole.
Okay, but But you know what I'm talking about.
I do, and that's also good. I get that too. That was also like a really good follow-up kind of about it. Was really kind of cool about the movie. But yeah, it's not only a buddy movie that, again, for me, kind of in a way, kind of teased potentially kind of a cable Deadpool dynamic. I was kind of looking forward to going into the movie. It's kind of like this. I mean, you have an absurd poster like this that we're kind of working with here.
Can I just say this poster is more clever than this movie deserves? Like, I'm not trying to be harsh on the movie. It's just this is a really clever poster.
It really does feel like a Deadpool 2 thing, which I really hope that they're going to like parody this with that too. Like, Deadpool carrying the large cable like this, or vice versa, which could be hysterical. Or Domino, maybe, like Domino carrying Deadpool. Anyway, my point is that, again, just the idea of a hitman and a bodyguard. Again, these are kind of the worlds I live in, with my favorite being Deadpool. Kind of a guy who's a mercenary. He has like all sorts of kind of cool jobs. Like, and you have two very specialized fields who are working together, and based on that trailer, have a history together. I thought that was like a great kind of like pairing you could have, and the absurdity of the hitman laughing at the fact that he needs a bodyguard. I thought that was a clever premise, and again, like the style of the first trailer, the whole you play on the bodyguard, hence the poster, with the hitman's bodyguard, Celine Dion and all, and again, it seemed very in tune with kind of some. Again, no, I'm telling you Deadpool necessarily, but just I'm saying the fact Ryan Reynolds is in it, and the fact we have a lot of recognizable Marvel actors as
we do, yeah.
Which again didn't dawn on me until I saw the movie and I recognized like some of the outside of our main too. Honestly,
there's Elodie Young too. Who else besides her?
Let's see.
Gary Oldman's never been in a Marvel
movie. Right. Obviously, we had some comic book players, and I guess that's the proper.
Okay, yeah, Gary Oldman's Batman, of course. Well,
sure.
Commissioner Gordon, more technically, yeah.
If you want to really split hairs, Gordon had become Batman.
Yes.
But anyway,
I know you were going to bring that up. You're so predictable. Go ahead.
Anyway, my point. Honestly, I got to tell you, even just I was so psyched for the. Honestly, I wasn't like over the moon, so I was like looking forward to it. I just kind of didn't dawn me until I was sitting down in the theater. Like, oh, wait a minute. Sam Jackson, we had. Basically, it's dumb because I knew Gary Oldman was in the movie. I knew the actors, with the exception of Elodie Young. I knew who was in this movie. I was like, oh yeah, we have like comic book characters. And everybody told me, oh wait, we have not only Deadpool. Man, I knew Deadpool. Obviously, we got Deadpool. We got Nick Fury, and we have Commissioner Gordon, evil Russian Commissioner Gordon in this movie.
And I'm here too, Matthew.
Exactly. Anyways, I was going into it expecting an action movie with some witty, fun kind of the Ryan Reynolds comedy in there, which again is kind of embodies some of the Deadpool aspects, just based on kind of the marketing, kind of deconstruction of the trailer. I was kind of looking forward to. So. My reaction to it, again, with the humble expectations going, just expecting to be kind of like an action movie with kind of a Ryan Reynolds wit to it, and I was fulfilled with that. I had a lot of fun with it. I laughed at it. I wasn't bored with it. I laughed a lot, and I thought it was very well directed. I'm not saying it's perfect. We're going to get into that, but it's just it's fun. It's not Yates by any stretch, but it's fun.
No, Dragon, you mentioned to me it kind of had a Tim Miller-esque feel to it, and
yeah.
I think I have a good analogy to that. This movie basically feels like a Tim Miller movie, the same way that Ant-Man feels like an Edgar Wright movie, and that there's particular moments where you just know that was in the Edgar Wright draft. And I'm not saying Tim Miller had anything to do with this movie. I'm just saying there's particular moments that feel straight out of Deadpool with this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One moment in particular that I really just kind of got things off to a great start was the opening scene.
I know, right?
I love Ryan Reynolds, like he's like, that grin where he's got like all his crew in the background, and he's just like so sure of himself, he's just got all the hope in the world, and then just the shocking, like, oh no, that guy's dead, and then Ryan Reynolds' smile fades. Like, that's all played super well.
So you're right.
Feels like something out of Deadpool.
You're absolutely right. The whole opening, like the kind of the 3-part opening of Reynolds, where we have that opening where like his target is killed, then like the 2 years later he's in the car, he whizzing into the bottle, and he has like the flex scuffs out.
Can I just say I wasn't a fan of the whole like reoccurring piss in the bottle thing.
I didn't like how it reoccurred, but I like the introduction of it. You know, it's just like, what the heck? Like, that's how we open the movie. I mean,
but why does he have to piss in the bottle? Is it just because he's late and he doesn't have time to stop in the bathroom on his way out? That's why I didn't get.
Well, no, it's like a stakeout thing. It's like, that's kind of what you do so you don't leave the car, so you keep eyes on the building. He's very,
Oh, okay. I mean, they shouldn't
have brought it back.
I think the movie probably could have done a better job explaining that.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious. It's, you're stuck in the car, and he's guarding the building. He's doing all sorts of stuff. He's making sure. Anyway, my point is, you're right. It should have been a one-off gag. They kind of brought it back weirdly enough, and
And I was just, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Samuel Jackson's gonna say that, and he's gonna see that. He's gonna be like, what kind of weird ass crack? And to be honest with you,
he didn't.
The reaction that Samuel Jackson has is actually kind of tame compared to the reaction I thought he had.
I know. It just makes it kind of weird. Like, okay,
right. It's just like, oh, look at this. It's a bee.
It's like a one-handed clap of a gag of like, it's
right. Like I thought Jackson would like go off. He'd be like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, the expectations subverted, but for what gain?
Right.
Anyways, but seriously, the opening was great. Like the whole came from the FlexiCuff scene. Basically, seeing, I was wondering, what the heck's what are those things? I realized, okay, they're FlexiCuffs, and seeing him in that sequence, take out all the guys with the FlexiCuffs and just get his sleazy pill popping lawyer out of there, and just be seeing how good at his job he is, even two years after his big blunder. Seeing the guy good at his job, again, felt very. Again, just I'll umbrella the majority of my enjoyment of this movie. Ryan Reynolds is on fire for me in this movie. I loved him out the entirety of this film. I thought it was really good.
I mean, he's certainly better in this movie than he was in the other 2017 movie he was in, which is Life, which he got, spoiler alert, he gets killed off in like the first 20 minutes of Life.
Well, he comes back, doesn't he?
No.
Well, I just assume Ryan Reynolds has a healing factor. He's so convincing. I mean, he got killed, sure, but he came back. Did you stay to the post-credit scene?
No. Anyways.
Well, there you go. He probably came back at the very end. He said, well, what? I miss. Anyway.
Right. So to tell you the truth, for me, yeah, Ryan Reynolds is fun. To me, it's like, I actually kind of feel like Samuel Jackson is the one who's playing more of a quote-unquote character than Ryan Reynolds is, whereas Ryan Reynolds is just being like charismatic Ryan Reynolds, and I don't even remember the name of his character.
Bryce.
Thank you.
To be fair, I mean, that's kind of Ryan Reynolds' thing, but he's just basically, again, he's an actor who's literally born to play Deadpool, and all his roles are very, very Deadpool-esque.
But what I'm trying to say though is Samuel Jackson, like, his character does have a lot of Sam Jackson isms. Like Ryan Reynolds makes a point, like he single-handedly destroyed the word motherfucker. That's a very Sam Jackson thing to do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Darius Kincaid felt like a character to me. It didn't just feel like Sam Jackson playing Sam Jackson. Am I making sense here? Like, Darius Kincaid seemed like a more lived-in guy than just Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds.
I get that. I get what you're saying. It also kind of feels like there was a period of movies where Sam Jackson would kind of do that, where he play guys that felt like they were, characters, but they were very, at the same time, like from a distance, they were, Sam Jackson.
Right. And I feel like this is very much in that same sort of mold.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, that's kind of what they're playing on. That's kind of the cleverness of the movies, that they're playing on the fact that, they're pretty much playing themselves. We're having fun with it.
And of course, the big thing with Sam Jackson that really, I think, elevates his character is his wife. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how amazing Salma Hayek is in this movie, because she is on fire.
Yep. She, So more so, of course, she has a fantastic introduction, when we see the how he met his wife.
Mm-hmm.
We use music very well in this movie. We have really good song choices, and we have good montages. And with the montages, sequences, where basically how he meets his wife, and of course the ending payoff of him meeting his wife in that very violent bar.
The very over the top violent, like no bar on earth would be allowed to exist like this. But hey, I buy it. I don't know.
Again, that to me, that also felt very Tim Miller, like all that stuff. And these
well, to tell you the truth, I kind of feel like that'd be more at home in like an actual comic book universe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it feels very much like the bar that Deadpool frequent, Weasel's bar that we saw, the Hell House.
No, I think this is like that's like on steroids.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like in this bar, there's just literally just a brawl going on 24/7 from what we see of it.
I mean, she kills those guys with that.
That's what I'm saying.
Cool.
She kills those guys and no one bats an eye.
And I love, and here's the thing. I love that. While at the same time, she's very, she sounds. I love that you buy instantly that despite like kind of an age difference, she definitely is. She loves this guy because she takes on various mannerisms like Sam Jackson, like the constant use of the big MF, if you will.
Oh my god! Oh god!
Like she loves the curse up storm, which again it sounds like she's tailor made for Sam Jackson. You never question it because she sounds so much like.
Now, if Sam Jackson, if Darius Kincaid destroyed the word motherfucker, then I would say that her character like perfected the word motherfucker.
And what's cool is that I love that he's very loving with her on the phone. It's kind of, you know what really, honestly, I'm probably beating you to the punch on this, but you know what really reminded me of this movie? Again, bear in mind, I'm going to account the cable Deadpool mindset, but that really, after the movie, kind of breaking it, thinking about it, is very much Jack and the Scotsman. It feels very much like Samurai Jack and Mac because especially that great episode.
You did beat me to the punch to that. I wasn't thinking that, but yeah, I can see where you're going.
I mean, see, very much it's that great episode from Samurai Jack where with the wife of it all here is where the Scotsman has his wife and he's head over heels in love with his wife and he's like, oh, she's so dainty, and we see she's let's just say she dwarfs the Scotsman in size and temperament, and Salma Hayek, she kind of plays that too. She's tough. Honestly, I think he's a little scared of her, if I to be honest.
To tell you the truth, I wanted to see a whole movie about her and her cellmate.
Well, I mean, the cellmate's is more of a gag, but
I know it's a gag, but I was just like fascinated by that dynamic. Like, is it just like that, like all the time? How many breaks does she get?
Yeah. I mean, the cellmate gag is funny. She's so intimidating. And again, I love that we sell how intimidating. And now, again, at the same time as she is intimidating, she does care for this man deeply. Like Darius frustrates her, but I love the nickname she has for him, or cockroach. The idea that it's he can't be killed, and he keeps coming back. And while it's like a term of disgustment, it's like, oh, he keeps coming back. And it's so romantic, and she still loves this man, and it's like she embodies the passion of that relationship, while not just being one way or another. She can be both.
I must say the scene where Sam Jackson leaves the flowers for her might be the most damn romantic thing I've ever seen Sam Jackson do in a movie.
It was really nice, and he didn't take forever walking somewhere, so I think that qualifies as being romantic for Sam Jackson.
Right. Okay, do you want to transition more into the villain side of things with the Gary Oldman plot?
What about Lutian?
Well, God. Like I said, there's not much to say about her character. I kind of wish her character would have more just stayed a plot device to get Reynolds connected to Sam Jackson. I kind of just feel like, I don't know, like I've seen this exact same love interest plot in like a million different movies, and it was like the most cliche element of the whole thing for me.
Let me say this. I think the Amelia Roselle, I like the dynamic she had with Kincaid, the idea that she's transporting the guy, he's a responsibility, and the fact that she's in a moment where she could be like the classic kind of the fugitive, the beginning of the fugitive with Tommy Lee Jones, where she's like, I'm going to bring this guy no matter what, kind of very kind of steadfast,
right,
very very kind of one dimensional in the beginning. I'm not trying to take any points away from views. I'm saying from my point here, just the fact that Rosella in the moment she's kind of being mentored by the guy, and he takes a shine to her, and I like that kind of lay some breadcrumbs for why he's actually rooting for these two kids to get together later on. Roselle.
And you're right. That is the one element of this plot line that I like is Jackson.
How he connects them.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, briefly here, we'll break it kind of reveal down a little bit more.
He's a dumbass motherfucker who doesn't know how to express his emotions.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. So I think the Michael Bryce character, Ryan Reynolds' character, is that he... in the beginning, because we don't have all the information, because again, like from what he's saying, he's blaming her for him being, because he believes that.
Okay, that's another thing that I flat out I found Bryce entirely unlikable, and I was just completely rooting for her the whole time.
Now, here's the weird thing: I was on the opposite end of it, because here's the thing: until I found out all the information, given half the information in the beginning, I'm just going off what Bryce has got no reason to doubt him, is he's saying. she sold him out, and she's not denying it. She's not really. She has like one line of denying it, but again, he's like laying all the evidence. It's not really. You think she. Point is, this situation can be easily resolved by her saying no and him being able to track that she did not do that. But that's the thing. I mean, basically, we find out that Darius is the guy who's responsible for the kill, but it's implied, and it makes sense the way he's laying it out there. Okay, she, to move up the ladder, she gave away the fact, he broke his one rule. He told her about the client, and then the client got killed. Who else would know about that? And it makes sense. They hold it. It's understandable. They hold a grudge for that, but at the same time,
I think it's just kind of like it's both their faults, really. And really, at the end of the day, it's the screenwriting's fault. I think this is kind of like one of the things that maybe another draft or two would have ironed out.
Well, sure, yeah, because again, there's that big plot hole. Like, why does he not just do research, and why is it just not like
exactly? And that just that was bugging me throughout the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, without that half of just again, I'm just assuming he's right until I learn the opposite. So that's why I'm on his side, because I don't know the full story here.
Right.
And again, it's just there's nothing. Again, it'd be a big plot hole, which it still exists as of why didn't he figure that out before? If it wasn't just anyway, but
yeah, like I said, it's just like sure, Sam Jackson being kind of like the the wingman to Reynolds is fun, but it's still a very paint-by-number subplot. You still know they're going to get together by the end. There's no tension to it.
Well, yeah, yes, we know that. I do like how they subvert for a moment where like he's doing the whole apology thing, and then she's like, "What are you doing right now? You're apologizing to me on the phone."
That was fun. That was fun. Yeah.
You forgive me. What forget you? That's a kind of. It's like fun subversion. I love the meeting, how she meets him too. By the way, that's kind of like it's ridiculous. And I love this again. Feels like a Tim Miller scene. Is that ridiculous? Is where he bumps into her because he screwed up her sting operation.
Mm-hmm.
So stupidly, he screwed up her sting operation.
Right.
They bumped into each other. Then it was love at first sight. And again, I like that simplicity of Adam's like shot so kind of hilariously. So I love the meeting of the scenes between these romantic romantics. Oh yes, yeah, so onto our villain. Let's talk about the old man himself.
Yes, the old man. I like that. I'm not sure how flattered he'd be by it, but
well, it's not a lie. His name is Old Man. His Oldman. Anyway, just seriously, we have nothing but love for Gary Oldman. Especially, I mean, come on, great. Even though he doesn't hold the same regard for his performance of Jim Gordon, I love it. I thought it was good.
And here's the thing with his character, like he's not in much of the movie, but the few scenes he does get to show how much of a bastard he is, he really he milks every moment he's on screen. You know what I mean?
Gary Oldman, again, he's worth every penny, but you got to utilize it more, man. Because again, he's in his own movie. He's diving back into the Air Force One day, Gary Oldman. Where he's
oh my God, you're right. It is totally like he's not just a terrorist. He's like this dictator.
Yeah.
It does feel like an entirely different movie.
It feels like kind of a dictator version of his character, of his terrorist character from Air Force One. He's not just dictator, but he's a very strict, menacing guy who from a foreign land.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we see he kills the family of the Scarlet guy for life.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it just I kind of feel like he's more of a plot device than anything else. He's more of just okay, we need a bad guy for Sam Jackson to. And here's another thing I didn't really like about the movie Dragon is I felt like the whole the reason why Sam Jackson needed to testify. Look, I don't know if you can clear it up, but I didn't even really get why his wife was in jail or anything.
Well, no, it's kind of the Al Capone thing. They nabbed her so they could nab him. So the whole false alarm thing.
But what charges are they holding her on though? That's what I didn't get.
Well, let's see. God knows how many counts of murder from that bar scene.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Well, here's to be fair, they don't address that she's brought. They say that he says she's arrested for nothing. I'm going to assume he took the rap for all the murders.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, it's it's how they got her and they get tired of stuff. It's like it's kind of how they can get Scarlet White for all Walter White's crimes, that sort of thing,
All right. Also, Dragon, before we with Gary Oldman's character, he has an attorney, right?
Yes.
He has this really slippery, slimy blonde-haired attorney. And this guy is basically just like the personification of the evil side of Chuck McGill. He is like the over-the-top cartoon caricature version of Chuck McGill. He's just like, ooh, I'm a slippery, slimy lawyer, and I'm going to do slippery, slimy lawyer things. Ew. Just every time that guy was on screen, all I could think of is just like over-the-top cartoon evil Chuck McGill.
You know what's funny? If you actually want to see the real version of that,
oh god,
he's not evil, but he is sounding exactly how you just sounded right now with your impression.
Right.
And here's the funny thing: it's from Mr. Show, the original one, not the new one.
Okay.
Original Mr. Show, and like you type in like Mr. Show. Lawyer sketch or like law school. It's law school specifically. You can see young Bob Odenkirk. He's a young law student, and Michael McKean is the teacher who sounds just like that.
Oh no, really? Oh my god.
Now, to be fair, he's only in it. He's not in it for the whole thing, but he's there, and he has like he delivers the punchline stuff. But he's there. It's the fact they're both there, and he's the law. He's the teacher.
Okay,
and he basically turns it
out.
And he turns it over to Bob Odenkirk to take over the class while he's out.
Oh, man.
So, anyway, it's ridiculous. But get back to this. With Oldman, I will say this. I love the, again, I appreciate the subversion where, he gives the big villain speech that, again, is true and accurate to what kind of themes of the movie are. But I love that Darius just doesn't give a crap. It's like, say whatever you want. I'm going to kill you because you shot my bodyguard.
Right.
I love that moment so much. As cheesy as it is, again, it's played really awesome.
It's pretty damn predictable. It's like, like at the point of the movie where Sam Jackson's like, you know what I want AAA service for? Someone who'd take a bullet for me. That's AAA service. I'm like, oh, gee, is Ryan Reynolds going to take a bullet for Sam Jackson at some point in the movie? I wonder.
Yeah, it's telegraphed, but
Greenlighting 101 right there.
See, while it's telegraphed, you got to appreciate the fact that they made that cheesy, the cheesy payoff of that, the whole "you shot my bodyguard," because it's awesome, and it's like he just kicks him off the roof and his people tear him apart.
Okay, I do like the return to the villain falling to his death. I appreciated that.
Kind of an old Hans Gruberian.
Right.
Does not look as good as Hans Gruber. Nothing is ever, any villain fall is never, with the exception of you can't animate, Frollo had this, probably the equivalent.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's been some animated fall, like Clayton comes to mind. That animated fall was just wow.
Well, sure, but that one was more of a hanging than a fall. I'm saying like a little.
Well, I know, but the fall itself is like, he's like gagging on the vine as he's falling.
Sure. Well, I'm saying like Frollo has like a fall, and with nothing has really beat the great Alan Rickman's fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's the greatest cinematic villain fall ever.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so we moved on from Oldman, I guess.
Yeah, you want to just get into pros and cons then?
Okay.
Okay, so I think we've kind of already set up a lot of the pros here. It's just, the leads have a really good dynamic with each other. Selma Hayek's great. A lot of the scenes have a good sort of Tim Miller style to them. I'd like to address some cons, Dragon. You might not agree with me in them. In one of them, actually, you kind of brought up as a pro where, okay, the flashback stuff. I want to talk about that. Now, look, Dragon, I'm not going to argue with you that they're well-done sequences. Here's the thing, though. I kind of just feel like in terms of the pace of the movie, it throws it off a little bit. And I don't know, to me, I don't know how you would have remedied that because you need these introductions, you kind of need this backstory. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I needed to see how Ryan Reynolds and Elodie Young met. I know you need the bar scene, but...
that's what I'm saying. That's the one that is key.
The bar scene is key. I guess the one that I was like, really, we're doing another flashback was the other one.
The preacher one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the preacher one, again, I think it's really well done. That's like an impactful scene, but right, the way it's woven in the plot is really silly because when it first comes up, I kind of get where it's being brought up in the first place. That's him explaining why he does what he does. I kind of get that, but here's the thing. The payoff, which is great, is really, really forced in there. It's because he literally says, "What's your name?" and then he goes off and the whole thing, "Here's my actual name."
Right.
Now that's the thing, that is really forced in there. But again, good story on how he became. It explains the tattoos and everything. I mean, that's a cool little story in there.
I did like the explanation of the tattoos.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the whole again.
And actually, Dragon, no, I'm not talking about the preacher flashback at all. Actually, I like that flashback. I'm talking about how Reynolds and Elodie Young met. That was a flashback that kind of took me out of it. Well, like, I don't necessarily think we needed that.
Well, honestly, that's a part of me feels that's them trying to add more to Elodie Young's character through that scene. So yeah, that's us rooting for the relationships. That's why they put that in there. It's kind of necessary, but it's hard to work in.
I guess so.
But again, good, well directed.
Okay, let's see. Now, I'm curious to get your take on this, Dragon. Personally, I thought the action in this movie was very repetitive.
Yeah, I like the action.
It was basically like Sam Jackson and Ryan Reynolds hotwire a car. The Gary Oldman goons follow them. They have to evade the Gary Oldman goons. Rinse, repeat.
I think the car stuff went on too long, but I think all the hand-to-hand stuff, I thought that was cool.
So, like, basically, I feel like this movie has, like, 3 different climaxes. Like, we have the climax to them getting to the courthouse. I mean, I don't know. I should say 2 climaxes. We have them getting to the courthouse, and then I thought it was a little bit unnecessary how we had another big action scene after that. Does that make sense?
I'll give you that. It does feel like they are kind of we have an ending wheels.
Because to me, it's like we're building up to that. They have to get to this courthouse by this certain time. That should be like the peak of the tension in the movie. After that happens, there really shouldn't be any more rising tension. I mean, it only makes sense. Like that is like the big stake in the movie.
Honestly, I'll tell you this. I think the reason it's because that's just them trying to earn their money with Gary Oldman. That's just them like, well, we have Gary Oldman, then we just be okay. Then he stopped. We gotta do something cool with him because it's Gary Oldman, and we kind of. And again, there's a question in the movie, like how self-aware is the movie? Because if it's really self-aware, then they're playing on the fact we're gonna go over the top like an '80s action movie here, where we reach the chorus, we think it's over. It's like, hey, it's like almost like the end of Kindergarten Couple. Now we're gonna have the fire and everything. We're gonna have like this whole the earned extra 10 minutes. So like now we get to the big kind of final action set piece. Now we think it's over. But
it's kind of funny, Dragon, because people have criticized Logan Lucky for the same thing, basically having an extra 10 minutes padded on past the end of the movie. But I thought Logan Lucky did it very well, because Logan Lucky, without spoiling anything, it's basically just sort of like, the natural, like kind of like filling in the gaps of like how these characters did what they did, how they got away with it. You know what I mean? So we kind of need all that information. Whereas, I mean, I agree with you. It's basically them just being shit. We cast Gary Oldman, and Gary Oldman doesn't really do much in the final act.
Like, if it's self-aware, at least I get where it's coming from. But if it's not, then it feeds into another problem with the movie, which is that it definitely goes on too long. They could have trimmed a lot. They could have trimmed this to 1 hour 40 minutes.
This movie did not need to be 2 hours long.
Yeah, that's the thing. They should have trimmed it to I know I keep bringing up Deadpool because of the Ryan Reynolds and all, but just go with me here, folks. Again, Deadpool's a perfect runtime, 1 hour 40 minutes.
And I think Dunkirk hit it right on the head as well.
Yeah, 1 hour 40 minutes is like 1 hour 40 minutes is a great action kind of time frame. I'm not saying like Dunkirk necessarily fits that one, that's a whole different thing. But my point is, 1 hour 40 minutes is like the perfect action movie kind of time. Mm-hmm. And so they could have definitely trimmed that ending, all those chase sequences again. Like there's a lot of that's all the stuff in the vehicles gets repetitive for me.
Yeah, when it was in the vehicles, I was just kind of like, all right. To tell you the truth, I kind of find myself, looking at my watch during those scenes.
Yeah, because I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we build to some fun. So we have two again, they're not really. It's not the action, but it's like the character stuff where he's talking to her on the phone while he's driving, and then he gets thrown out the windshield. Those are funny gags.
Like I said, that feels like Tim Miller moments kind of sprinkled into an otherwise very generic chase scene.
Yeah. Oh, so we can actually say the director's name. Patrick Hughes is doing a really good Tim Miller impression in some of these scenes.
Sure. All right.
But let's see. So, also, the post-credit scene is a real big jip.
Oh God, I didn't even stick around for the post-credits.
There's a post-credit scene. Here's why it disappointed me. Okay. See, I heard there was going to be an outtake at the end. I didn't know I thought it was going to be outtakes. Like, he was going to be play the outtakes, building towards the end with ending on a final outtake. But there's the thing. You go through all of those credits, and there's only one outtake. And it's not even a really good one.
Oh
It's like one
God.
of those inside joke outtakes where like basically they're doing one of my favorite scenes in the movie where he's ranting to the guy with the brow or something. Like all the beers and stuff, like all the fancy beers.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah,
Basically
that's a great scene. Yeah, yeah.
it is. That was honestly that was my favorite bit from the trailer because my favorite line is, "I hope they kill him. I really do."
Yeah, yeah.
And then just see Ryan Reynolds losing, after like, I was up here and God dang it! Some of my favorite Ryan Reynolds stuff, just tapping into everything I love about the guy in those types of scenes. Where, again, I love how like the Ryan Reynolds is kind of the snide, witty guy who can also lose his temper on like a dime. Like that's like just everything I love about the guy. The delivery is perfect. I love hearing Ryan Reynolds curse. I really do. I'm sure a lot of people go on this movie. They're gonna love the way Sam Jackson curses, but for me, it's like I love the angry little man delivery of Ryan Reynolds. In all these scenes with all of his cursing, he's so much built up.
I hear you.
But seriously, so that whole scene basically is like he's waiting for. There's like a sound in the background. It's like it's going on for a ridiculously long time as the credits are wrapping up, and he says, "Can we start now?" And that's how it ends. It's like, really, I waited all this time for that. It did confirm one thing. I was chatting with my buddy when I saw this movie. With. We were kind of going, some of those scenes look like they were green screen. And that scene, believe it or not, it looks a little green screen, but it's not. It's real. It's practical because you get to see it again. They're setting that they're shooting in a practical location.
Right. That's true.
That was like that was the only thing we got out of it, but it wasn't really satisfying. They answered it for us. We were talking. So how much? Well, I know it must have been green screen. I don't know. And it was confirmed the other way. Okay.
I guess another pro is kind of like the location shooting stuff. It is kind of like a fun sort of like Europe road trip.
Let's see. Again, I think the romance is fun. What we get from again, mainly those flashbacks kind of intercut into the romance. Again, even with the Elodie Young thing, again, that bolsters the romance for me a lot.
All right.
Let's see. Again, solid song choices. Kind of the feeling of being self-aware here and there. I like it if that's what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good balance of comedy and action.
It is because it's not like there is some very gritty action in it.
Yeah, like the fact when they one of the great moments here, and this again feels this buying into the premise I loved here, where it's like these two guys, the minute they first see each other, they start to fight, and again we address this feels like a very Tim Miller-esque bit here, where he kicks him in the leg wound, he starts the wound opens up and he's bleeding out.
Oh God, that is totally a Tim. That might be the most Tim Miller thing in the whole movie.
No, I'm going to tell you what the most Tim Miller thing is. Okay, it's more Ryan Reynolds, but it's it's a very Ryan Reynolds improv from the Tim Miller Deadpool.
Okay.
Literally, we do the same bit from Deadpool where, and I love this, just while he is like complaining to he's complaining to Russell about he's tried to kill me 28 times. He is tossing playing cards at Sam Jackson, much like Deadpool's like tossing stuff and throwing the hubcap at Francis's head.
Oh God.
Well, it's just he's chatting with the X-Men. That's again, I just love that the immediate premise of just like these two guys have a history, and all that history kind of weighed into these guys, and the fact that we revealed, okay, he's the guy who shot the arms dealer in the head. And I like that we discussed kind of I like we discussed the differences between the Hitman and the Bodyguard here, where like throwing that fair ride, fact, you protect these scumbags, I kill them. So who's really doing who's job?
That was a really good line. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was. I'm not sure how much longer they could have stretched this gag out, but I wish there was more with the nuns.
Yeah, the nuns were funny. Of course, the ending where he's just saying, "Hey," and he's killed like God knows how many people.
Yeah, but that's all in the trailer. That's my problem with the nuns, is that literally like everything we see with them, except for when they first get on the bus, is like the trailer.
That's fair. Yeah, you're right.
So I was kind of hoping for like some sort of bigger payoff with the nuns than what we. Although I do like how the nuns just absolutely love Sam Jackson, and they want to exorcise Ryan Reynolds, to quote him.
Yeah. What would have been funny if here's the thing. Here's how you spice up that action, all those driving scenes. If somehow they had hijacked the nuns' vehicle.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be wonderful.
Now again, this just I swear to God, I came up with the nuns thing, then I came up with this. So it wasn't just like those and bones or those that. In the comics, Deadpool hijacked a school bus. It basically, he had to hijack a school bus filled with children because he realized he's trying to tick off the Hulk intentionally so he can get killed, but then realized, oh crap, I'm near a school zone, so he has to hijack the bus and get the kids out of there while the Hulk's chasing him.
Oh god!
It's like do that, but with nuns. Just being pursued. Again, so a lot of the very well directing is. The comedy again. It's a lot of fun. I did not know where I was not entertained in the movie.
It's a nice, fun, light summer movie. It's not anything where you're gonna need to use your brain at all.
Certainly, and the road trip element's kind of fun too, and the fact that I love that he calls Sam Jackson on his stuff. He calls Darius, and the fact that he's an old school guy. He brought the phone, which was how they've been tracking him. He has all these plans laid out, and he just they keep getting foiled by Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson said, "Hey, you just got to go with the flow. Just got to go." It was, and also that great sequence where where Sam Jackson's just walking down the street after they've kind of parted ways, and he's taking out all the guys behind him.
Right,
well, not after,
right,
not after they parted ways, but he went out on his own. He snuck out, and he's running those off screens, taking out all these guys. That's and again more Millerisms.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're kind of going in circles here with the Millerisms. So, anything else on pros and cons, or should we get into final thoughts?
I guess final thoughts.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, I definitely this is it's not high up on my list. It certainly doesn't crack the top 10 or anything like that, but. I definitely don't think this is a bad movie. It's very fun. It's very light. It is somewhat disposable. But by the same token, Dragon, I think the whole disposable quality of this film really kind of depends on how self-aware this is. I think if this was meant to be self-aware, that kind of makes it a little bit more unique. Kind of hey, we're going to do the buddy cop thing, but we're going to, kind of have a lot of fun and sort of play with the tropes, do the tropes, but play out how ridiculous the tropes are. And I can see some fun being had with that. But, but overall, I'm kind of glad I saw it. It's just something to kind of, like I said, it's at the end of the day, folks, this is just going to, it's going to be a fun way to spend an afternoon, and don't expect it to be anything more than that. And you should not be disappointed. So, all right. For me, it's, again, I think the plot is a little by the numbers. But again, the dynamic between Reynolds and Jackson's great. Again, their chemistry alone is a reason to check out the movie. I feel the action's good. It's a good time. Just again, it's not the a second or third draft might have benefited, again, making the plot a little bit more interesting, a little bit more palatable. But again, if it's self-aware, it might be playing on the fact, who cares about the plot as long as it's about these notable stars kind of in the roles and just kind of their back and forth, and who cares? We have kind of that one, the mole subplot that no one cares about. Everyone's gonna be focused on Ryan Reynolds, right. Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson going back and forth, cursing up a storm, having a good time, doing what we know them best for, and it's a lot of fun. I definitely rewatch it. Just basically, again, just on the entertainment factor. All right. Well, the next big movie that is coming out, Dragon, is It. Are you going to see it? Are you going to see It?
Not immediately, but yeah.
Probably not in theaters for you.
Not in theaters, but I'll get around to it.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm definitely stoked about It. I'm not sure we're going to do a full podcast on it.
Now, what I have next, what I have next is Kingsman.
You see it. I still need to watch the first movie, but I will say, I know. I will say though, I've been getting the whole international Kingsman thing, Dragon. I love the cowboy in the trailers. Yes. I love the Channing Tatum and Jeff Goldblum stuff. That's really selling me on the
Jeff
Kingsman
Goldblum. He's stuck playing cowboys now. I don't know what's with him.
Wait, did I say Jeff Goldblum? I meant Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, you got me locked into it. Yes, Jeff Bridges. Hey, you said Goldblum when you got me saying Goldblum. All right, no, seriously, Jeff Bridges. I don't know what is about Jeff Bridges. He's just stuck playing cowboys.
I think True Grit was kind of like the breaking point.
Yeah, I think he got so lost in the role. Now he's just playing.
It's just like he walks around. He thinks he's a cowboy in real life, and it's like, well, we got to placate him.
And the guy used to be Obadiah Stane. Now he's a cowboy.
It's kind of like the ending of Kubo and the Two Strings. Like, well, if he thinks he's a cowboy, we got to put him in some cowboy movies.
I think that's a stretch for a Kubo reference. I gotta tell you.
I'm just referencing it because I rewatched Kubo yesterday. So what are you gonna do? Anyways, so folks, like I said, I will definitely probably get around to seeing Kingsman, and we should definitely be reviewing it. Not sure about a podcast about it. I'll probably, if I get around to it, I'll probably make a first reactions video about it.
And how you feel about
it. Yes. But suffice to say,
everyone should be looking forward to
it. Suffice to say, I am very stoked about it. So,
and that's it.
Yeah, that is it. They all float. They all float.
You